If you want to improve your English and feel more confident when you speak, make sure you follow this podcast and listen every day. Now let's begin.
Today we're talking about a situation that almost every learner knows very well.
When you don't understand something someone said.
And it happens a lot. I mean, it happens to native speakers too, not just English learners.
True. Sometimes you're listening and suddenly your brain goes blank. You hear sounds, but you don't understand the message.
Or the other person speaks too fast, or uses a word you don't know.
And here's the thing. Many learners get nervous in that moment. They feel embarrassed or afraid to ask.
Which is funny because asking is normal. It's how communication works.
So let's talk about how to handle that moment in English in a relaxed, natural way.
First, let's share a quick story. Last week, my neighbor told me about his new job. He spoke really fast and used some technical words.
Did you understand him?
Not at all. For the first 10 seconds, I smiled and nodded. Then I stopped myself and said, "Sorry, can you say that again?" He repeated it slowly and it made sense.
Good example. And that's a great phrase. Can you say that again?
Simple, friendly, and very common.
Here are a few more useful phrases for that moment. I didn't catch that. Could you repeat that? What do you mean?
These phrases are short and help you stay in the conversation. They are better than just smiling and pretending that everything is fine.
And they show that you are interested. People appreciate that.
Many learners think asking questions will make them look weak or not smart, but the opposite is true. Asking helps everyone understand each other.
Also, remember that your goal is communication, not perfection.
Yes, when you don't understand something, the goal is to keep the conversation alive.
And you don't need long sentences or complex vocabulary. Short is good.
For example, I didn't get that. Say again? That word is new for me.
Light, simple, real-world English.
Before we move forward, let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where someone explained something and you understood nothing, but you didn't ask?
I have, many times. In fact, I used to do that in a language class when I was younger. I was afraid to look silly, but in the end, I lost more because I didn't learn.
And that's why today's topic is important. If you want to speak better English, you need to practice asking questions, especially when you don't understand.
In the next part, we'll talk about how this happens in daily life and the best phrases to use with friends, family, and strangers.
So let's look at how this happens in normal daily life. Because most confusion doesn't happen in the classroom, it happens in real conversations.
Yeah, situations like ordering food, asking for directions, talking to neighbors, or dealing with small problems.
For example, imagine you're at a coffee shop. The barista asks, "For here or to go?"
Many learners don't understand that question at first. It sounds fast, and the rhythm is different.
If you don't understand, you can say, "Sorry, what does that mean?" Or, "Can you say that more slowly?" And the barista will explain that "for here" means you drink in the cafe, and "to go" means takeaway.
And it's totally normal to ask. They hear that every day.
Another common situation is when someone gives directions. People often speak fast when giving directions because they're thinking while talking.
Right, and directions use many verbs like turn, go, cross, continue, follow. If you miss one small word, you might go to the wrong place.
So if you're confused, you can say, "Sorry, could you repeat the last part?" Or "One more time, please." You don't need to stop the whole explanation. Just ask for the part you missed.
There's also the supermarket situation. Sometimes employees ask quick questions like, "Do you want a bag? Do you have points card?" Or "debit or credit?"
If you don't understand, just say, "Sorry, can you say that slower?" Or "Sorry, that's new for me." Short, simple, polite.
And tone matters. You don't need to sound scared or stressed. You just sound curious.
I like that word, curious. It changes the mindset. Instead of thinking, "I failed," you think, "I want to know."
Here's another everyday moment. Talking with friends. Friends usually speak faster than teachers, and they use slang or informal phrases.
For example, someone might say something like, "I'm starving." That means very hungry, but beginners might think starving means something serious about food.
Or someone says, hang out. It just means spend time together. But if you don't know, it can sound confusing.
In that case, you can use questions like, "What does that word mean?" Or, "What is hang out?" And your friend will explain.
Also, don't be afraid to ask for repetition multiple times. If you still don't get it, you can try another strategy.
One useful strategy is to repeat what you think you heard and check. Like, "So you mean we meet at 6?" Or, "So you want me to wait here?"
This is called checking understanding. It helps both people.
There's also a cultural thing here. Many learners think native speakers will get annoyed if they ask questions, but most people don't mind at all.
In fact, when you ask, it shows you are listening.
Let's ask our listeners something. This is important for learning and also fun for us. Have you ever been in a situation where you didn't understand someone speaking English, and what did you do? Write your answer in the comments.
I'm really curious to read those comments because everyone has been there. Even advanced learners have these stories.
One more thing. When you're confused in daily life, your body language helps also. Eye contact, a small smile, and relaxed shoulders make the moment softer.
Instead of freezing or panicking, just look calm and ask your question.
Also, you don't need to apologize every time. Some learners say sorry too much. One sorry is enough.
Good point. You can also use phrases like, "Can I ask you something?" Or, "Wait, I'm not sure I understood that."
Or, "Can you say that slower?" Or, "Can you show me?"
In daily life, people often use gestures to explain too, like pointing or demonstrating.
So the main idea here is simple. Confusion is normal. Silence makes it worse. Questions make it better.
And asking questions is a communication skill, not a mistake. In the next part, we'll move into school or work situations where instructions and expectations are more serious. So let's talk about school or work situations. These moments can feel more serious because instructions usually matter. You want to do the task correctly, so misunderstanding can create problems.
And here's the funny thing. Even native speakers ask for clarification at school or work all the time. Teachers, managers, and coworkers repeat things every day.
For example, in school, a teacher might say, "Please complete the homework page and use full sentences." If you don't understand, you shouldn't stay silent.
You can say, "Sorry, which page?" Or, "What do you mean by full sentences?"
Notice something important. You don't need long grammar. You don't need a big explanation. You just ask the part that is confusing.
Same idea at work. Let's say your manager says, "Send the files before lunch and copy the finance team." If you don't know what copy means, you can ask, "Do you mean send the files to the finance team too?"
And the manager will probably say yes or explain how to do it.
There's also the situation where someone explains a task with many steps. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3. It can be easy to get lost.
In that case, you can stop after a step and ask, "Can you repeat Step 2?" Or, "Can you show me Step 3?"
These questions show that you care about doing the job correctly.
A lot of learners feel shy because they think their English is not good enough. But teachers and managers prefer questions over mistakes.
And in many companies, asking for clarification is part of the culture. It's expected.
Also, sometimes the problem is vocabulary. For example, if your coworker says, "We need to review the invoice," if you don't know invoice, you can ask, "What is invoice?" And the coworker might say, "It's a bill or a document about payment."
When the unknown word is important for your task, you want to make sure you really get it.
Another strategy is to use your own words and check. For example, "So you want me to send the email today?" Or, "So the deadline is tomorrow."
This technique is called confirming. It's very common and very useful.
And it keeps the conversation clear. They say something, you repeat it in your words, and they confirm yes or no.
You can do the same thing in school. For example, if the teacher says, "Remember to bring your report on Monday," you can say, "So I need to bring it on Monday morning," right?
This helps prevent small but important mistakes.
Another thing that scares learners is speed. Sometimes teachers or coworkers speak too fast without noticing.
In that case, you can say, "Can you slow down a little?" Or, "Can you speak more slowly, please?"
Notice the difference between repeating and slowing. Repeating means say again. Slowing means say but slower.
There's also a situation where you don't know what the person means emotionally. For example, someone says, "I need this soon." What does soon mean? 1 hour? 1 day? 1 week?
Good point. If you don't clarify, you might make a mistake. You can ask, "When do you need it?" or "What time is this due?"
These questions sound natural in English workplaces.
And they prevent confusion and stress.
We should also mention emails. Emails are great for clarification because you can read slowly and think.
If someone writes instructions and you don't understand, you can reply with, "Can you explain the second part?" or "I don't understand the word invoice. Can you give an example?"
Examples are very helpful. If you ask, "Can you give an example?" the person will usually show you what they mean with a simple situation.
And examples make abstract words more concrete.
Another useful phrase is, "What should I do first?" because sometimes the order is confusing.
And for deadlines, you can ask, "What is the latest time?" or "When is this due?"
So the big idea is, in school and work situations, asking questions is part of communication. It helps you avoid mistakes and shows that you want to do things correctly.
And people respect that. Silence is what creates problems later.
In the next part, we'll talk about what to do when you don't know a word and you need to describe it.
Now let's talk about moments when you don't know a word. This is one of the most common problems for learners. You're in a conversation, you want to say something, but you don't know the word in English.
And this moment can feel frustrating. You have the idea clearly in your mind, but you can't express it.
The good news is you don't need the perfect word to communicate. You can describe it, you can explain it in simple language, or you can compare it to something else.
For example, imagine you want to say the word elevator, but you don't remember it. You could say, "The machine that takes people up and down in a building."
It's not perfect, but people understand it.
Another example, you don't know the word wallet. You can say, "The small thing where I keep my money and cards."
This method is called describing. You explain the function or purpose of the thing instead of naming it.
You can also describe using category words. Category words are general words like animal, fruit, tool, vehicle, clothing.
For example, if you forget the word cucumber, you can say, "It's a vegetable, long and green. You use it in salad."
Or if you forget microwave, you can say, "It's a kitchen machine that heats food very fast."
These descriptions are clear, simple, and effective.
And here's something interesting. Native speakers describe things like this too when they forget words.
True. Everyone has had the moment of saying, "That thing, you know, the thing you use to remove bottle caps?"
And the other person says, "You mean the bottle opener?"
Exactly. So describing is natural in all languages.
Another useful strategy is comparing. You can compare something to something similar. For example, if you don't know the word backpack, you can say, "It's like a bag, but for your back."
Or if you don't know the word balcony, you can say, "It's like a small outside space attached to an apartment."
Comparing gives a quick mental picture.
And pictures help the listener guess the missing word.
Another option is to ask directly, "What is the word for," and then describe the thing.
For example, what is the word for the place where you buy medicine?
And someone might answer, "That's a pharmacy."
You can also ask, "What do you call the tool for cutting paper?" And someone might say, "Scissors."
Simple, natural, and helpful.
Now let's talk about asking when you don't understand a word someone else uses. That's another skill.
Someone might say, "The forecast looks bad tomorrow." If you don't know forecast, you can ask, "What does forecast mean?"
And they might say, "It means the weather prediction for the next days."
Sometimes you don't need a full definition. You just need an example. So you can ask, "Can you give an example?"
And the person might say, "For example, the forecast says it will rain tomorrow."
This makes the meaning clear through context.
Context is powerful. Sometimes you can learn a word without asking, just by listening to the whole sentence.
And if you're still unsure, you can ask again, but this time check your understanding. For example, so forecast is like weather information for the future?
And the person might say yes.
Also, don't worry about bothering people. Most speakers enjoy helping learners because it makes the conversation smoother.
There's also a trick many learners don't use enough, using related words. For example, if you don't know gloves, you can say the clothing for the hands.
Or if you don't know charger, you can say the thing that gives power to my phone.
These small tricks keep communication alive, even when vocabulary is missing.
And the important mindset here is that language is not about perfection. It's about ideas. If you can express the idea, the conversation continues.
And every time you ask for a word or describe something, you learn faster. You get comfortable and your vocabulary grows.
In the next part, we'll look at strategies for listening, like how to buy time, how to check understanding, and how to ask questions without stopping the conversation.
Now let's talk about listening strategies, because sometimes the problem isn't vocabulary, it's speed. You hear the words, but your brain needs more time to process them.
This happens a lot. Someone talks, you understand a little, then they keep talking, and you start losing the thread.
One useful skill is buying time. Buying time means giving yourself a few extra seconds to think before you answer.
For example, you can say, "Let me think," or "Give me a second," or "Just a moment." These phrases are friendly and natural.
And they prevent the awkward silence that makes learners panic.
Another strategy is checking understanding. That means you repeat what you think you heard and wait for confirmation.
For example, "So we meet at the station," or "So you want me to bring the laptop?" If the other person says yes, you're good.
If they say no, then they explain again. Either way, you get clarity.
There's also the strategy of asking simple clarification questions, like where, when, who, how many. These small questions are extremely powerful.
Yes, if someone says, "We need 10 chairs in the room later," and you don't know when, you can ask, "When do we need them?"
Or if someone says, "Please send the files," you can ask, "To whom?" or "Who should get them?"
Small questions reduce confusion more than long sentences.
Another thing to pay attention to is tone. Sometimes tone gives information that the words don't.
For example, if someone says, "Can you do that soon?" with a serious tone, it usually means quickly. If the tone is relaxed, it might mean when you have time.
And context gives clues. If you're at work and someone looks stressed, soon probably means immediately.
Here's another skill, asking for examples. If you hear a new word or vague instruction, you can say, "Can you give an example?"
People love examples because they make ideas concrete.
And your brain learns faster with examples than with dictionary definitions.
Another listening trick is focus on key words. You don't need to understand every single word.
For example, if someone says, "Tomorrow morning, we're meeting at the library to study for the exam, and then we'll take a break for lunch," you really just need library, study, exam, lunch. Tomorrow morning.
The rest you can ignore for now. Beginners often try to catch every word and get overwhelmed.
Yes, real listening is selective. You listen for what matters.
Also, don't underestimate the power of asking people to repeat slower instead of louder. Many people just repeat louder automatically, which doesn't help.
So if you need clarity, say, "Can you speak more slowly?" not, "Can you speak louder?"
And if someone uses slang or idioms and you get lost, you can ask, "What does that mean?" or "What do you mean by that?"
People usually switch to simpler words when you ask that.
Another helpful tool is gestures. If you're unsure, you can use hand signals like pointing, or you can show what you mean.
Language learners often forget they can use their body. Communication is not just words.
Listening also improves when you relax. Anxiety reduces comprehension. When learners panic, the brain stops processing.
I've seen that many times. Students understand more when they smile and breathe.
And here's something interesting. Native speakers don't understand everything either. They ask questions all the time.
For example, if someone speaks with a strong accent, even natives say, "Sorry, what did you say?" Or "Could you repeat that?"
So asking questions is not a language problem, it's a human problem.
And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. It becomes a habit instead of a scary moment.
In the next part, we will talk about something many learners never think about, the emotional side, why people feel embarrassed, how to stay confident, and how native speakers really react.
Now let's talk about the emotional side, because not understanding something is not only a language problem, it's also a confidence problem.
Many learners feel embarrassed when they don't understand. They think other people will judge them.
But here's the truth. Most people don't care. They just want clear communication. They don't expect perfection.
And in many cases, the native speaker won't even notice your mistakes. They're just focused on the conversation.
Another common feeling is fear. Some learners worry that asking questions will make them look slow or not smart.
But in reality, asking questions makes you look engaged and responsible. In school and work, people trust the person who asks for details.
I had a student once who never asked anything in class. After one exam, she told me she didn't understand half of the instructions but felt too shy to ask. Her score was low, not because she was bad, but because she stayed silent.
Silence is expensive. It costs you clarity and sometimes results.
Another emotional problem is pride. Some learners don't want to show that they don't know something. They prefer guessing.
Guessing works sometimes, but in communication, it usually creates more confusion.
Also, remember that misunderstanding is universal. Even native speakers misunderstand each other because of noise, accents, speed, culture, or context.
For example, when I traveled to Scotland, I understood almost nothing for the first 2 days. The accent was heavy for me.
See? So language skill is not the only factor. Accent differences can confuse anyone.
Another emotional point is patience. You need patience with yourself. Learning a language takes time, and comprehension grows slowly.
And instead of thinking, "I'm not good," you can think, "I need to ask one more question." That mindset changes everything.
Native speakers usually respect learners who ask questions because it shows courage and effort.
Exactly. People appreciate honest communication. Saying, "I didn't understand," is better than pretending you did.
There's also cultural variation. In some cultures, asking questions is seen as rude or disrespectful, but in English-speaking cultures, asking is normal and healthy.
Yes. If you don't ask, people may assume you do understand, so they continue speaking at the same speed with the same words.
Another emotional trick is to celebrate small wins. For example, the first time you asked someone to repeat and they repeated without problem, that's success.
Or the first time you described a word you didn't know and the other person guessed correctly.
These moments build confidence, layer by layer.
So, the emotional lesson is simple. Confusion is normal. Asking is normal. The conversation doesn't break because you ask. It becomes stronger.
In the next part, we'll listen to 2 longer example dialogues showing everything we talked about in real action.
Let's put everything together with some longer examples so our listeners can imagine real situations.
Good idea. First situation, 2 friends making plans. No formal language, just normal, casual English.
I'll play the friend speaking fast, and you play the learner who needs clarification.
Ready.
So, tomorrow morning, we're meeting at the new place across from the big supermarket. After that, we'll grab something to eat and then maybe hang out at the park for a bit.
Wait, hold on. Which supermarket?
The big one, near the bus station.
Got it. And what time are we meeting?
Around 10, but if you need more time, we can do 10:30.
10 is fine. And what do you mean by new place?
It's a new cafe. They opened 2 weeks ago. Really good coffee.
Nice. And when you say hang out, you mean just relax and talk, right?
Exactly. Just spend time together.
Great, that makes sense now.
See? Small clarification questions keep the plan clear and there's no confusion.
And notice something. I didn't use complicated grammar. I used short questions. Which supermarket? What time? What do you mean? And it worked.
Now let's do a second situation. This one is a workplace situation.
I'll be the manager and you can be the employee learning new instructions.
Okay, go ahead.
So for the report, I need you to organize the numbers and then send them to finance before lunch. After that, make sure the summary page is printed and placed on my desk.
Sorry, can you repeat the first part?
Sure. Organize the numbers and send them to finance.
What do you mean by finance?
The finance department, the team that handles money and accounts.
Got it. And when do you need the files sent?
Before lunch.
So around 12.
Yes, 12 is perfect.
And after that, you want the summary printed and placed on your desk?
Right.
Just to check, first I organize the numbers, then I send them to finance, and then I print the summary.
Exactly. That's the order.
Thanks for explaining. That's clear now.
This is a great example of confirming instructions. You repeated the steps and checked the order.
And notice again, no long speeches, just simple questions. What do you mean by finance? When do you need it? And then one confirmation sentence.
This is how conversations work when you don't understand something. You ask small questions, the other person adjusts, and communication continues smoothly.
And the best part is that these strategies build confidence. Every time you ask one good question, the next time becomes easier.
Learners often think asking questions will stop the conversation, but actually, it keeps the conversation alive.
Now we're almost at the end. In the next part, we'll look at the most useful takeaway phrases and a short closing message. So before we finish, let's give our listeners some useful takeaway phrases they can use when they don't understand something.
Good idea. These are short, simple, and natural. First group, asking for repetition. You can say, "Can you say that again? I didn't catch that. One more time, please."
Second group, asking for slower speech. You can say, "Can you speak more slowly? Slow down a little, please. I need more time to understand."
Third group, asking for meaning. You can say, "What does that mean? What do you mean by that word? Can you give an example?"
Fourth group, describing missing vocabulary. You can say, "How do you call?" and then describe the thing. Or you can say, "It's something that," and then explain the function.
Fifth group, confirming information. You can say, "So we meet at 10?" Or, "So you want me to send it today?" Or, "So the deadline is tomorrow?"
Fifth group, buying time. You can say, "Just a moment. Let me think. Give me a second."
These small phrases make a big difference. They keep the conversation moving and reduce stress for everyone.
And here's one final message. Not understanding something is normal. It doesn't mean you are bad at English. It means you are learning.
Native speakers ask questions too. They say, "Sorry, what?" all the time.
Communication isn't about knowing every word. It's about staying in the conversation, asking questions, and expressing your ideas in the best way you can.
And the more you practice these strategies, the faster your confidence will grow.
Keep learning, keep asking, and keep speaking. You're improving every time you try.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.